Good morning. My name is Willard Van D. Bogart, and today I'd like to talk about the precession of the equinox, especially how it affects us on December 21st, 2020. I'd also like to talk about the Mayan Long calendar, as well as the Hindu yugas and how they all fit together. Um, so let's start. On the chart I have at my on my right is a picture of the Earth with a line going through the polar axis from South Pole to North Pole. You'll note that there's a little red circle on the top, and the way the Earth works over a period of 26,000 years, sort of 25,963 years, uh, it describes an arc in the sky, in the universe. It goes through all the zodiac houses, and it takes quite a long time to pass through that. And every solstice, it's on a specific point where the sun is aligned directly with the Earth, and this point on the precessional clock. Uh, this coming December 21st is more significant than most because the what I have on the left of the chart is the planets, and you can see that they're in some form of alignment. And this particular solstice, the alignment includes a conjunction between two major planets, Jupiter and Saturn. The Jupiter and Saturn conjunction is fairly important. It's been used to try to determine the end date of the great year. I think the Mayans started at 3,114 BC, and the Hindus have another year like 3105 BC. And it's been very difficult to determine the end date of the last Baktun, the 13th Baktun in the Mayan long count calendar. It was normally fixed at around December 21st, 2012. Since that time, there's been a lot of Hindu scholars and other scholars that have been looking at the Vedic scriptures, and specifically the Mahabharata war that took place in Kurukshetra and in India. And there's mentioned in the Vedas about a conjunction and some eclipses, and it's using those dates to go forward and trying to match the long count in the Mayan calendar. That the end date has actually been changed uh, to uh, to December 21st, 2020 instead of December 21st, 2012. Now, the great clock, as it's referred to in Mesoamerica, as well as the Vedic scriptures with the yugas. So we're dealing with the various yuga cycles. And Swami Yuktaswar, in his book, The Holy Sciences, was talking about the Dawapara Yuga, which comes after the two Kali Yugas and the descending Dawapara Yuga. So this particular December 21st, 2020 solstice happens to be within the beginning of the ascending Dwapara Yuga. And this is very, very significant because of the combination of that as well as the alignment of the planets. So trying to understand how this works, I think John Major Jenkins had written a book some time ago called Galactic Alignment, and Jose Arguelles also wrote a book called Earth Ascending. And if we go a little bit before that, we could run into Giorgio di Santanella and Hertha von Dechen, from MIT, who they wrote the book Hamlet's Mill, which was the definitive book on understanding the precession of the equinoxes. So here we are coming up with this very, very important alignment of the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction on December 21st, 2020, as well as a position on the Yuga, Dawapara Yuga, on the ascending Yuga, as well as the alignment, the effects of the alignment of the other planets at this time. So this is the first time in like 6,000 years that this Saturn-Jupiter conjunction has taken place. But then the next sort of like realization when you have these are sort of like facts. The facts, we do have facts, facts of precession of the equinoxes, facts of our celestial bodies and where they are. And we also have the attributing to the positioning on this great year, how the yugas have been defined by the Hindus. So coming into the Dawapara Yuga, the ascending Yuga, means that there is an increased amount of energy because we are going up on the cycle of the great year, and we are not descending on that part of the year. So the thing is, what does that all mean? And it means, for one thing, it means that it's a very unique coincidence, and you can see that I've shown on the chart that there is a direct line that goes through one of the Yucatan temples, and it's also lined up with all the planets. I plan to kind of sort of go to the Yucatan. As you know, if you don't, I do play a lot of electronic music. So the idea for me is to actually go to the Yucatan and change some of the frequencies that change frequencies. So I'm going to be changing frequencies at the same time I'm at the Yucatan. Okay. So that's kind of like just something that I wanted to actually bring to your attention. And the reason I wanted to do that is because when you actually feel the energy that is going to be accumulating at that time, there's going to be a lot of gravitational effects that come into being. And there's going to be a lot of, when they say energy in the Dawapara Yuga, what does energy mean? Energy means a relationship between the human body and the universe. And especially in a particular solar system, we have, and it's always been this way in history, we have a direct relationship with what the planets are doing to our bodies. And this has also been borne out in astrology and other esoteric sciences. But the vibratory physics and the vibration that we will feel at that time is subtle, of course. It's on the micro level. But once you have an understanding subjectively in your own conscious mind that there is a direct relationship between the energy fields in the universe and yourself, then I have taken it upon myself to sort of study Edgar Mitchell's work. He had a really nice paper on the holographic universe, and he talks a lot about how energy and consciousness phases with itself in the universe. So I believe, I've always believed that certain frequencies can aid in our consciousness. So going to feel that frequency is quite important. So I just wanted to point out that this ascending time in the Dawapara Yuga is very, very, very going to be influential in terms of ideas that we may have. So I think those ideas are unknown to us, but we do create ideas, and it's essential that we do that for our own consciousness as beings on this planet. If we have some sort of like service that we would like to contribute to the planet, one of the ways is to develop ideas in your own mind to elevate your own beingness as a conscious being. And one of the ways to do that is to go to a natural place and just feel the energy changes, whether it be wind or any subtle changes. And if you wanted to chant, you could do some chanting. I'm playing a few Tibetan bells in the background. You might be able to hear them. That's very important to do. On the other hand, for me, it's like a concerted effort to change the frequency. So there'll be myself and another musician that will be going down there in the Yucatan, out in the jungle area, where the people who were originally trying to determine the astronomy for their is the same as in the Hindus, and being so closely related now to all of the Indian culture with my position at the Sanskrit Study Center, as well as knowing quite a few people in India. I'm very close to kind of like the holy sciences that Yukteswar has mentioned. So I think you have to get to a spot where you can do something or recognize that there's something that you could contribute with your own ideas when you're in that position of that moment of December 21st, 2020, which will probably last for, it's been told that and understood, I understand that it will last maybe 2 or 3 days. This will be a very, very different kind of effect, conscious effect that we will experience. And that conscious effect is very interesting to me because when you ask yourself, well, if my mind changes, what do I do with my mind? Do I want to project myself out into the universe? But we really don't know. We set ourselves up with some of the thoughts that we have, and then the energy that comes to us affects those thoughts and puts them into sort of a different relationship based on the frequencies that have been impacted on our own microstructure. So it's sort of like an assist to complete ideas, complete things that we may not have known before so clearly. But with additional kinds of energy, there's a sort of like emergent quality to the conscious state. And the conscious state has many parameters to it. I mean, there's many belief structures in the conscious state. So I'm mostly aligning myself to the possibilities that we're trying to become something that we aspire to, that we're not quite sure, but at least it gives some support to the belief that there is something more that the human is capable of doing in this passage, in this life, and the relationship to the traveling on the precession of the great clock, the great year, is very significant to that. So this is just really, I just wanted to bring to your attention that this particular solstice has elements to it that are worth considering a great deal, and strongly suggest that you find a place to sit and sort of absorb that energy in any way you can. And if you are inclined to sort of like participate with that energy, then you could interact. And I hope to I will be recording all of the sounds that I will be making in the Yucatan with a lot of equipment that I'll be bringing down there. And hopefully out of that, I'll be able to maybe share some new ideas that I receive from that. If you wanted to go to the internet, I think I have a paper that I also went to the top of a mesa in Chaco Canyon in 2012. And I think if you Google my name and Chaco Canyon, I think that paper will come up. And I've been doing an awful lot of research by going out into the natural environment and to see how the natural environment affects how I make a sound and how I respond to a sound. So it's sort of like the language. I look at it as sort of the language of the universe that comes through us, because I believe that we're very much a part of that universe. and we're passing through this kind of configuration of our energies, listening to our energy, which is always going to be there. We will pass into the same energy that's giving us the ideas that we have now. So it's a way of actually unifying oneself with the universe in a really concrete way during the time that we're on this earth plane. Well, that's an awful lot, but I again, the graphic, as you can see, the precession of the equinoxes is quite an amazing celestial phenomena, and it was recorded by our ancient ancestors a very, very long time, sometimes attributed to a Greek philosopher, but it actually goes back thousands and thousands of years, just by steadily watching the 20-year cycle of the Jupiter and Saturn conjunction, which are visible to the naked eye, and then calculating what the effects are of that over time to pinpoint an end date of a certain fifth portion of the Yuga cycle, which would be the descending Dawapara, the two Kalis, and the ascending Dawapara Yuga. So again, we're going to be in an alignment with an awful lot of energy being affected by the conjunction, and we're also going to be at a point on the precession on the great circle in a particular yuga. So we're going to be in a yuga cycle, and it's told that that yuga cycle has a tremendous amount of energy that we can use for our own celestial navigation, for our own idea construction, for our own spiritual enhancement, and many others that we probably can only imagine at this point. So that's the reason I'm doing this, and I'll try to come back and contribute more as I prepare myself to go into the Yucatan. And any of you would like to contribute your ideas to the journey, please feel free to do so. You can always leave a message on Messenger. Okay, so I appreciate the time, and thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye.